I'm Marcus, and I live in a quiet cul-de-sac in Oregon. Last November, there was a huge storm that knocked out power across the whole block. Everyone came outside with flashlights, talking, waiting for updates. About 20 minutes later, the lights came back, except at my house. When I checked the breaker, it was flipped off. I turned it back on and didn't think much of it. The next day, I reviewed my doorbell cam to see if I caught the lightning. At 8:49 p.m., right before the outage, a figure with a flashlight walked right up to my front door, then went out of frame. The lights in my house went dark seconds later. The police said there was no sign of forced entry, but when I went into the basement, the breaker panel had muddy fingerprints on it. Whoever turned my power off had come from inside the house. My name's Tom, and I live alone. I keep my spare house key under one of those fake rocks by the porch. Dumb, I know. One morning, I noticed the rock had been nudged a little. I figured maybe the wind did it. That night, I locked up and went to bed. Around 3 a.m., I heard the floorboards creak in the hallway. I froze. I don't own a pet and I live alone. I grabbed my phone, ready to call 911, but the noise stopped. When I checked the next morning, everything looked normal, except every cabinet door in my kitchen was wide open. Later, I reviewed my doorbell cam footage. At 3:02 a.m., someone walked up to my porch, crouched down by the fake rock, and stayed there for almost 10 minutes. At the end, they put the rock back, leaned close to the camera, and whispered something. I turned the volume all the way up. I just wanted to see if you still trusted it.
I'm Lena, and I live across from an old 2-story house that's been empty for years, until a couple moved in this summer. For a while, I'd see their blinds open upstairs, and a little girl standing in the window. Same spot every time, wearing a white dress. She'd just stare. One evening, I waved to her. She hesitated, then waved back. At a neighborhood barbecue a week later, I met the couple, Brian and Melissa. I mentioned their daughter was adorable. Melissa just stared at me and said, "We don't have a daughter, and that window doesn't even open. It's nailed shut." I laughed it off, but that night I couldn't sleep. I glanced at their window. It was dark. The next morning, I noticed something that made my blood run cold. On my own front window, someone had drawn a smiley face in the dust from the inside.